Welcome to Talking Carts, the Consumer Reports podcast that helps you shop smarter, save more, and feel good about every purchase. I'm Tanya Christian.
And I'm Brian Vines.
And this is Talking Carts. Travel feels different right now. You know, flights are delayed, airports are more crowded, and prices don't always make sense. And for a lot of people, particularly now, planning a trip feels less like something exciting and more like something you have to figure out. On this show, we talk a lot about feeling confident about what you're spending, and travel is one of the biggest and often most confusing purchases people make. So today, we're looking at how to approach travel more strategically, how to book smarter, where people tend to overspend, and how to actually get value for your money.
Value for my money. We're not just talking theory. We're going to be joined by Monet Hambrick, founder of The Traveling Child, who's built a platform around helping families travel in ways that are both meaningful and practical. And we're also bringing in insights from Consumer Reports on luggage and cruises, two areas where people often spend more than they need to or just don't realize what actually matters. So if you've got a trip coming up or you're just trying to make travel work in a way that feels worth it, this is the show for you.
You know, Brian, last week we talked about tracking prices. And I think whether you track prices for grocery store items or, that new headphone you want to buy, I feel like everyone pretty much tracks prices on flights. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're planning a trip, you're not taking it last minute and you have the time to track, you're going to track.
I can't even remember a time before those Google people and that calendar that they have now. Like, what did we do before that Google calendar? Like, even further, do you remember travel agents where you called up a lady and said, where can I go for $100 next week?
No, absolutely. My mom used a travel agent at our local mall. And I remember, so when she was planning trips, we would go down to the mall. They were right at the front of the mall and we'd go in and spend an hour, 2 hours there figuring everything out. And then, they printed out the tickets for the flight. It's just so crazy. Yeah, the printouts. And you had it in advance.
You left with that little wallet Bible of your trip with the tickets and the printout and the hotel and everything was the package.
Yeah, the packet. My mom still has her little, that little binder they still put in.
Yes.
Wow.
Was that the good old days or the bad old days? Because between Hopper and the Google travel calendar and the Expedia of it all there's
things.
So many people competing right now about what they tell us is the best, fastest, sleekest, exclusive way, and not even to mention the travel credit cards and trying to book your travel using your credit card or your favorite place, Costco. So there's so much.
Right. I love the credit card points and the Costco of it all. Travel is one of those things that tells you so much about a person. So this topic is exciting for me, and I know you're quite the traveler as well.
I'm really looking forward to our conversation with the mind behind The Traveling Child.
So the next voice you'll hear travels a lot more than either one of us, and she shares her and her family's adventures with her nearly 300,000 followers on Instagram. She'll be breaking down everything you need to know right now to travel smarter and save money while doing it.
Monet, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, of course. You're welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
Let's start this conversation. I wonder from you as a travel expert, what feels different now about traveling today compared to maybe a year or two ago?
Well, as we all know, there's a lot that's different right now. Government shutdowns, TSA, long lines, ICE at the airport. Things are definitely a lot different than they were a year ago.
Does that mean that I should click that little box and get that travel insurance then?
Absolutely, because flights getting delayed, canceled, air traffic controllers understaffed, travel insurance, absolutely 100% necessary.
Yeah, and the travel insurance goes into the planning of it all. Are you seeing areas where people are either overspending or under planning when it comes to travel right now? Obviously, we have to worry about the long lines, but is there anything else that we should be planning for?
I mean, really, at this point, I think it's just to expect the unexpected because every day I feel like there's an added layer that's coming about. There's reports in some airports that lines are 4 hours, and then you'll go to another airport. I actually had a friend who traveled yesterday. He got to the airport 4 hours in advance, but he got through TSA in 2 minutes. So then he took a nap at the gate because he had so much time. But really, it's just being prepared for anything at this moment in time. It could be short lines, it can be long lines, it could be delayed flights, it could be canceled. There could be anything that goes on right now at the airport. I mean, I recently traveled, and when we landed at the airport, we sat on the tarmac for 3 hours and 10 minutes after I landed because there was no available gate to take an international flight. That was not in my plan. So anything can happen right now. So definitely, I mean, for me, thankfully, I was at my final destination. But to your point on travel insurance, if I wasn't and I had a connecting flight, I would have missed that flight. And the only thing that would have saved me was travel insurance because even if the airline is going to put me on the next available flight, that flight we didn't get off the plane until like 9:45 p.m. So the remaining flight options are non-existent. You're going to be spending the night wherever you are, and do you want to stay at a hotel that you're going to get reimbursed for, or do you want to sleep on the airport floor? So to your point, yes, travel insurance at this time, highly, highly advised. Even if you were someone that liked to play games, live on the edge of your seat before, today, 2026, right now, no, not the time to do that.
I love it. I've been there in Houston airport, and people definitely had to spend the night in the airport. And that, yeah, just was not on my bingo card for that day.
I sure do hate it because I am a bit of a fly by the seat of the pants. I'm like, oh, everything will be fine. We're gonna go. It's gonna be fine.
Hmm.
So one thing that I know as a known unknown is just at the airport when you actually get there, especially if you're traveling with kids, you did all the bathroom breaks, you gave them all the food, and you get there, and the only thing they want is that $26 bag of M&Ms that is like hanging out in the shop there. I don't know why things are so expensive at the airport, but one of my favorite travel hacks that I saw this woman do is go to Domino's beforehand. She bought 3 large pizzas, took them through TSA, got scanned, and fed her kids on the other side. Is there anything that we're underestimating when we're planning these trips?
Everything. I mean, people still go to the airport with their bags overweight. I don't know what to tell you. People are just stuck in their ways. They just like to play with fire. But even like parking, I would say at the airport lately, if you're parking your car, parking has been terrible. Getting there extra time to make sure that you have a place that you can park before you have to get to where you need to go. If you are going to, play dangerous games, not have travel insurance, at least making sure you're booking your flights with a credit card that offers some sort of protection. That's an alternative option if you're already paying those massive annual fees. Put them to use, like claim everything. Also, like I feel like a lot of people sometimes something will happen on a trip and they'll be like, oh, I just don't have the energy to file the claim and do this. No, you've already paid. You've already paid for this. Get your money's worth. Use your benefits. Like the worst thing that happen is you can put in a claim and they say no. But the best thing can happen is you can get your money back for any of those expenses that you've incurred.
I love that. I'm always putting my credit card to use. But right now, like, what are you seeing as having the biggest impact on travelers? Is it the cost? I mean, we know if you looked at a price of a flight 2 weeks ago and look at it now, it's possible that it has tripled in price, or is it just the time or just how unpredictable everything is? What would you say is having the biggest impact?
Well, right now, I mean, flight prices have increased because gas is astronomical. Even at the gas tank, the gas pumps over here, gas has increased by like $2 a gallon by me. So you multiply that for airlines, that is killer. I feel like all of the typical rules of travel have been like thrown out the door currently in the state that we're in. That's also another reason why, I love doing points and miles because at least with points and miles, those normally stay a little bit more even plane.
Yes.
If a flight is 60,000 miles, it's 60,000 miles, it's going to be the same. using points and miles to me will always be superior. Following the deals, a lot of times, a lot of people, they just have their heart set on, oh, I want to go to this destination in this month on this date. So many of our amazing adventures have just been because an amazing flight deal came up. I had no intention of going to that destination in that time, but am I going to pay $200 per person round trip? Or am I going to pay $1,500 per person round trip for the destination that I have my eye in? I'm going to go with the $200 round trip every single time. And there's so many amazing things. Like I've been to Morocco for $300 round trip. There's a lot of websites and that I use and services that send flight deals straight to your email. And that's still how we plan the majority of our trips because to us, savings is just more important.
Yeah.
How do you make that work with the kids' schedule of it all? If your kids are schooled outside of your home and you've got that strict time to go, can you still follow deals there, or can you make your destination work in a way that's inexpensive?
You can still follow the deals. Both of my kids go to regular public school. People don't realize, like, there are so many days off of school. It's crazy. Like, there are so many days off. There's spring break. They get a little over a week. They get 2 weeks for Christmas and Christmas and New Year's. At my kids' school district, they also get the week off of Thanksgiving. They get so many holidays. And you also have to realize a lot of people, they think people that travel internationally, like, you have so much money. But honestly, a lot of times international travel is much cheaper than domestic travel, especially for US-based holidays. Everyone in the world does not celebrate Thanksgiving. Honestly, pretty much every single year for the week that my kids get off for Thanksgiving, we travel internationally because it's so much more affordable. We've gone to Cape Town, Guatemala, Morocco, Portugal, like all these destinations during the Thanksgiving break, and it's way more affordable. And then for a lot of those destinations, like for a Cape Town, they're on the opposite side of the equator, so it's nice and warm there as well versus being in the United States and going to a cold destination where you're freezing. We went to Cape Town, we were having the time of our lives in our shorts and t-shirts. And when you go for our summer break, when it's more expensive, it's cold there. And now we're able to travel during Thanksgiving. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Flights are much cheaper and we're getting better weather. So a lot of it is just broadening your horizons on where you're willing to travel and not just think of the typical places like, oh, let's go to New York for Christmas. Yes, that is going to be very expensive. Everybody wants to see Rockefeller Center and the tree and the Rockettes. But if you're a little bit more, just more creative with your destinations, you can still absolutely find lots of destinations, very affordable to go. We went to Rio de Janeiro one year for spring break. We got those tickets for like $250 round trip. Just broaden your horizons. Don't think of just the US because a lot of other places are a lot more affordable to go during our school holidays.
Oh, I love that, Monet. Would you say that's kind of like your strategy when you're booking? I think sometimes people need like a little bit of guidance to figure out exactly how to plan these trips. It seems like you have a strategy and it's really look for the deals. Anything else that goes into your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, basically looking for the deals, utilizing points and miles. That's a huge part of our strategy as well. We're already paying for daily expenses, kids' activities, gas, whatever, groceries, household supplies, all these things. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in the United States, credit card debt is something that is astronomical. However, credit cards can be such an advantage, especially in the travel game. And if you're able to understand how to utilize credit cards, only charge what you can pay it off in full every single month, credit card points and miles can be such a bonus for you. So many of our trips, when we can't find a flight deal and we have to go on specific dates, my daughter, she does competitive gymnastics. She has competitions all over the United States. And those times we're able to utilize our points to reduce our costs. Or if there's some place that we really want to go at a specific time for in a specific event, we're able to use those points to go. If you're able to truly be disciplined in your spending, only spend what you would actually buy. The only thing I put on my credit cards is our actual expenses, what we can afford, and paying that off. And we're able to go so many places, and not only go extra places, but sometimes get that little extra comfort as well on, long haul flights that are 14 hours instead of like being squished in the middle seat in row 58, being able to upgrade, our seats and be more comfortable at no, not an additional monetary expense, which is amazing.
So, when you talk about those little creature comforts, I would love to hear where the line is for you. Like Tanya said, like you've got a strategy down, but saving money versus avoiding stress, especially with things like checking your bags or having access to that lounge or not being in the middle seat next to some folks you don't know or even folks that you do know. But how do you balance when it's worth it to like splurge on the comfort versus just getting there?
Yes, I think it all comes down to budgeting, knowing your expenses, knowing, being realistic with your budgets, and also just determining what it is. So for me, for upgrades, if it's a daytime flight, I don't need to upgrade, really. Like, I'm going to be awake the whole time anyway, just watching on a screen, watching movies, reading a book, whatever the case may be. Anything like 8 hours and under, I don't really need to upgrade either. Like, that's just a regular, day. Now, when you get to like flights like you're flying direct to Singapore and it's 16 hours, that's when you're like, okay, maybe a little comfort would be very nice. 12-hour, 14-hour flight. Yes, let's see what the difference is. But also as a family, that's times four for us. So, okay, one, do we even have enough? And two, you have to just think about it for yourself too. Okay, I cannot upgrade and maybe I can use my extra points or extra money, on the hotel. Or I can, but that means it will be less trips this year. And you just have to determine for yourself, really, what do I want? Do I want a little bit more luxury and less travel? Or do I want to travel more and I'll just, I mean, the majority of the plane is economy. So, we're all going to be suffering together. But it's really, I think for that, it's really a personal choice. And also just thinking about health. Everyone has different health things going on as well. If you have certain situations that you're dealing with, maybe upgrading is something that you really need to do and it's worth spending that extra money or those extra miles because your comfort is going to be more important. But yeah, it's definitely a personal choice and you have to think about those things, but the hotel will always matter to me.
That's true. Like I have claustrophobia, so I have to sit in an aisle seat and I can't like for whatever reason I can no longer sit in coach because the seats are like too close together. So at this point, I've gone the airline credit card route so that I'm always upgraded. It's an automatic upgrade because to your point, people have health things. Me, it's my claustrophobia and it's not going to keep me from flying. But at the same time, it's really important because I've had panic attacks.
Yeah.
So it is really important that I have the seat where I need it to be.
So, is there anything that you always do before heading out to the airport with whether it's a girls' trip or solo or flying with your family, Monet, that we could glean and steal a little knowledge from, some news you can use? Like, okay, I'm going to the airport in 12 hours. What do I need to be doing or happening or getting myself into a place of?
Well, for one, always double checking your boarding pass. Even people with, frequent flyer miles, or we have all of our information saved into airlines with our known traveler number. There have been times where it just doesn't connect for some reason. And now you're at the airport, you already cutting it close because you already like, oh, well, I got TSA pre-check. I don't need to get through there early. Then you look at your boarding pass and you're like, oh, just kidding. It's not on my boarding pass because my non-traveler number did not go in there. So honestly, little things like that, because the last thing you want is for that to happen when you're already running late. Also, even still, people with pre-check and a lot of airports right now have upgraded their x-ray machines. So, you don't have to take your electronics out. However, if you have lots of electronics, you still need to separate them because sometimes, say, if you have like a tablet, a Kindle, a laptop, and a phone, and they're all together, when they go through that scanner, it's so much, I guess, electronics together. it can still turn the sensor off where they have to pull your bag out and now you have to wait extra time for that. So trying to separate them into different pockets within your belongings, that's something I learned as well. I am a team carry-on person, so I don't have to worry about making sure my bags are underweight. But for those that check bags, just making sure your bag is not overweight at all and double checking what the cutoff time for check bags are, because so many people, they're used to flying one airline and it's 60 minutes and they get to another and it was 45 minutes and now they can't check their bag. So now they have to go on a whole other flight because their bag can't go on the plane. So little things like that, just the more you have prepared, the better off. If you don't want to pay $16 for a bottle of water at the airport, bring your refillable water bottles so you can fill that up while you get there. Definitely pack snacks. I haven't brought Domino's to the airport, but I've definitely packed my own food, stopped at some place, and it's in my bag. I have all the snacks because realistically, the snacks that they give you on most planes anyway, like what is a small bag of pretzels going to do for me at the end of the day? So all those little things, just having all your stuff, any visas that you might need, making sure you have that easy access instead of having it where you have to click a link. What if their service is not good? Always have it screened, in a screenshot. I always create folders on my phone with all the documents I need for any particular trip. That way I can go directly in that folder and everything I need is right there. If you're traveling with children, the only one parent is going, making sure that country doesn't have specific notarized documents or forms allowing you to travel with that child just on your own. And even sometimes when you are traveling with both parents, so just making sure that you have all your ducks in a row, every single thing you possibly need, that you have it. So either having a Google Doc or something where you can access it, screenshots, anything that you could possibly think of, especially when you're traveling with children. Some countries have very, very, very strict rules. So just making sure you have those types of things.
And honestly, that is the unpredictability of travel, right? Like, it's very unpredictable now, but I swear, like, whenever you travel, you just do not know what you're going to come up against, which is why it's like really good to be able to control the parts of travel that you can actually control. And a part of that is how you book the trip. We talked a little bit about your strategy and how that works, but are there any like apps or websites or any travel hacks that people should know about that you often rely on when you're booking flights and hotels?
I do use like the Flighty app because it gives extreme up-to-date information on flights, whether it's delayed, canceled, anything like that. I will get notification from that app before the airline will notify me of anything, which is really good to know. Just keeping yourself up to date on exactly what's going on for people that do have like TSA, pre-check or global entry, downloading those apps as well so you can be up to date on what's going on with the airport. Also being able to research what the wait times are currently at TSA. That will help you prepare too, knowing, well, how soon do I really need to leave before this flight or not? That gives a lot of information for people that have lounge access. Like through Priority Pass, downloading that app because it will show you in what terminals are the lounges in. Because sometimes when you get to certain airports, the lounges are actually not in the terminal area. They're before you go through security. So if you want to get that lounge time in, it's great to know that before you've gone through security and wasted your time and now you have to backtrack. I mean, of course, always having the app for the airline that you are flying, the hotel, if they have a hotel chain, because some hotels will even allow you to check in online. You don't even have to stop at the desk anymore. Things like that. Anything to make your day smoother is always great.
I love that. Now, once the trip is booked, the next set of decisions starts, and one of the biggest is luggage.
I know Tanya is a resident expert at CR on luggage. And Monet, you mentioned you are team carry-on, and we are aligned with that. But where we split is Tanya is team roller bag, and I'm team on my shoulder with the whole duffel rucksack of it all. I've got this old, this old North Face bag.
See that face.
That's obnoxious orange, and I
Are you
carry.
okay?
Listen, I'm stellar. I can pack that bag for 2 days, or I can make that bag work for 3 weeks. But I grab it and I go, and we out. No hard side. I'm lugging mine, and she's like gliding by me.
Yeah, team suitcase every day.
All day,
I'm not
every day.
carrying a bag on my
But
back.
what happens when they change the size of the thing? When they like, oh, the carry-on doesn't fit anymore. You have to take the wheels off. With my bag, I promise I can make it look this big or I can make it look that big. So it's like I can expand and contract the thing.
So I will say, international airlines, their service is normally like always better, but they like to play with their carry-on size bags. So I try to fly US based airlines as much as possible because I know I'm going to get the same size bag every single time. And they're not going to tell me, oh, you have the wrong size carry-on bag. And of course, every airline is different because there are some airlines, they don't care. Then
Yeah.
there's those that are like, "Come, let me measure your bag right now. Put it
Yeah.
on the scale." I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're weighing my carry-on? Don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do that because my carry-on, I could fit a lot of things in there. Okay, I got tricks. Mind your business. So so yeah, that you have to be careful, and that is one thing you do have to stay on top of those rules on what the airline rule is. But I'm sorry, I'm not carrying a bag, especially being team carry on, knowing all the stuff I have in my suitcase. I need wheels.
See,
I need wheels.
because I will pack it to the brim.
A brim. I'm going to sit on my suitcase to close it every time.
Fine. So, Tanya, as our expert, I know that you have recently had an article where you looked at those hard bags on the rollies that at a bunch of different price points too. Is there something we should know about if you can spin your way to the better bag with the zipper and the wheels and all that jazz, or if there's actually some bargains to be had?
Yeah, no, I would just say I feel like a lot of people kind of go with the name brand that they trust when it comes to luggage. It's like, oh, I gotta have that Tumi bag or I have to get that Rimmel bag. And honestly, in our tests, we found that there are some very basic bags like Amazon Basics that do really well. So if you're somebody who doesn't travel that often and you just need like a nice sturdy bag, go with the Amazon bag. Like you really don't need that extra fancy bag. And honestly, the other thing that I would add is look at the warranty. You know, typically when a bag has issues, it's the wheels and the zipper that go first. And sometimes the warranty will cover it. A lot of times it doesn't. So you just want to be mindful of that. Those are my 2 tips on luggage.
That's because
Agreed.
y'all over here sitting on bags instead of just zipping it up and carrying it like I do. So there you go. Advantage team duffel bag.
Whatever. So another area where people make big spending decisions outside of the luggage and how much they're spending on that are cruises. Now, I am not like somebody who is an expert on cruises. I've only ever taken one cruise. I honestly didn't even realize it was a cruise until it showed up in our cruise ratings. I don't know, it was on a boat. I just didn't think of it as a cruise in the same way because it was one of those National Geographic cruises. And so it was much smaller and the activities were very different. So, Consumer Reports looks at cruises a little differently. We factor in things like safety and cleanliness and how transparent pricing really is, not just the upfront cost. When you look at cruises, Monet, what matters most to you?
Y'all not going to want to hear my answer
Say it.
because I love a Virgin cruise, no kids allowed. I love Virgin Voyages. Okay, because let me tell you, not seeing kids for the entire time. I love my children, but sometimes you just want a kid-free vacation. But anyway, no, definitely cost is a huge thing because there's a lot of cruise lines. I love cruises. I've been on a lot of cruise lines, a lot of them. And hidden fees is something that really does bother me as well because you see the ad for this cruise and it's like, oh, we have zip lining, we have a roller coaster, we have this, we have all these amazing things to keep you entertained and your kids entertained for the entire time. And this is how much the cruise costs. And then you get on the cruise And you realize, yeah, that's how much the cruise costs, but none of these things that they promoted in their commercial are included. And why is it $10 to go on bumper cars per person each time? Because I'm on a cruise for 7 days. How many times can I afford to pay for my kids to go on the bumper cars? When there's all these extra fees, it limits your experience because I'm not going to be able to get all those things at my base price. And if my base price is already $7,000 for a week-long cruise, how much more money do you think I can spend? Because the $7,000 is already astronomical. You have to do some serious research to find out what those costs are, or you just find out once you're already on board and you haven't necessarily budgeted for those activities.
I hate that for us. This is like, that's why I keep a Reddit lit up. What is the actual experience? Between Consumer Reports and Reddit, I've got all of the bases covered. We do our deep dives and they share their experience. So I'm like, you will not catch me lacking in the bumper cars.
So we have gone over a bunch, right? We've talked about the chaos that's happening today, how to book smarter, the luggage you need to take. We've even touched on cruises. But generally speaking, how do you personally decide whether something is truly a good value when it comes to travel?
I know this is like a cop-out answer, but like value really depends on the person because with travel, everyone values something completely different. Just like you have the people that are like, oh, the hotel doesn't matter. But the hotel is a part of the vacation. When I come out for my activities, I want to be able to feel comfortable in the space that I am and lay down and not be like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Or the AC, there's no air, like different things. So for me, what I love is cultural experiences. I'm going to see all the tourist attractions because maybe I'm a tourist. I'm not going to Paris and not seeing the Eiffel Tower. When people are like, why don't you just go and do touristy things? That's why they have tours. I'm going to go to the Louvre. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm going to do now. Am I going to do some other things? Yes, because I like to connect with locals. I like to dive a little bit deeper in certain aspects. But if I can hit on like seeing the must-do experiences at a destination, try at least one local dish, have a conversation with at least one local person, and learn, an interesting fact about that destination that I didn't know before, that's a deal to me.
This has been a good reminder that not all extra costs are bad if they're adding real value. And that feels like a good place to leave it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Monet, thank you.
Travel might feel more complicated right now, but the fundamentals really haven't changed. The more intentional you are about how you plan and spend, the better your experience will be.
And that's really the goal, making sure every decision from booking to baggage to where you stay is actually working for you. A big thank you to Monet from The Traveling Child for joining us.
And if you're planning a trip, think of it the same way you would any major purchase. Do the research, know what matters to you, and spend with intention.
Thanks for listening to Talking Cards. We'll see you next time.